I understand the hummingbird impact on our partners. I understand the principle of happily divorced man. I'll come back to those in a second. It makes sense, but I'm having such a hard time not being affected every day, worrying about everything I'm doing. And is it enough? Is it still ultimately tied to, am I doing everything I can to be the best version of me? But the problem is, it's tied with the preferred outcome of saving our marriage. So he's aware of his covert contract, his want around to save the marriage, which makes total sense. So hummingbird, if you haven't heard that before, Steve Forsman, it's asking too many questions. How are you today? How's the relationship? How are you? All in a fishing attempt for her to tell you that everything's okay, to kind of be your mommy and pat you on the head and validate you and tell you that you're okay. That's hummingbird. And the opposite of that is the HDM, the happily divorced man. And you can act like a happily divorced man prior to leaving a marriage. You don't have to get divorced to start acting like and having the mindset of a guy who is happily divorced. In other words, you stop having these covert secret contracts. You stop expecting a particular outcome. You stop blaming her for problems within your particular life. You stop being a victim. You start taking control of your own self and act like it. And that's what an HDM is.
The following program is intended for a mature audience. Viewer discretion is advised.
This I've got to see. It's worth watching, so stay tuned.
I broke down today and probably put myself weeks back. I asked how my wife was feeling and that I'm working on me, etc., by the script of other guys' posts. She still doesn't know. She feels the same way. And she says, let's see if things will change with time. So solid in limbo land, right? I think I'm feeling like I need a check-in with her to understand how I'm doing. Okay, that's hummingbird. Does it feel different? And if I need to course correct, right? So in her frame, asking her what to do, not acting within his own direction. I'm having so much difficulty accepting to do the work and see if I'm in 12 to 24 months. It's made any difference to our relationship. I honestly feel through numerous searches and daily reading, I've read most posts here. Does anyone have any advice on the above or what worked for them if they were constantly thinking about their messed up relationship? ? Thanks in advance. So it seems like he's aware of where he's coming from. It seems like he's becoming aware that he's acting needy, but he's still checking in with her, right? And his question is, does anyone have any advice on this? And what worked for you if you were constantly thinking about your messed up relationship? What helped you have perspective? Okay, unmute yourself and come on in. Who's been in this spot? What would you say to this man if he was sitting across from you, having a beer or having a cup of tea? Come on in, unmute yourself.
Yeah, just trusting the work, and this is when you take it to the guys. This is when you take it to the men. Hey, I'm doing this, I'm this and this. I'm not seeing anything. The guys will share with you, hey, yeah, there was a point where I didn't think anything was working either. If you're checking in with her, one, she's going to get a new frame of reference of where bad is. So don't.
That's really interesting. Let me jump in there. What do you mean, a new frame of reference on what bad is?
Okay, so they're not going. Things are not going great. Maybe he has been doing his work and things have kind of settled for a little bit, and then he comes up with all this needy energy and just restarts the whole timer, if you will, resets the weird dynamic between them where there's the neediness and all that kind of stuff. And, it takes a certain amount of time to get from being perceived as the needy man, the one who doesn't trust himself in the moment, to being perceived as a man who really trusts himself and is trustworthy. It takes an amount of time, and she's gonna be working through this process. If you reset it all the time, you're gonna be pushing that end result farther away. So.
Yeah, I agree. Cynthia, what was
did this, so yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask if anyone's been through this and what else helped you keep your mind off it. But Cynthia, what's it feel like for a woman when he resets the number of days since an accident timer, and asks, "All right, is everything okay? Tell me that I'm okay," and has this needy energy and goes back to her and asking her to lead. What's that reset like that Jason's referring to?
That's a wonderful question. It makes me think of, often the feminine can feel like she's standing on like a rug on the ground. And if she's kind of trusting that rug and trusting that space, she starts to relax a little. And then an old trigger or the same habit appears again, and it can feel like the rug's pulled out from under her feet. And it kind of can bring a like, oh, I shouldn't have trusted this. I shouldn't have let my guard down. And she makes it kind of buckle in of, be tougher, stronger, independent, which is kind of the opposite direction that it sounds like this gentleman would really love the relationship to go.
Yeah, that's a great metaphor.
To watch the rest of this episode for free and other episodes, go to greatmenmovemountains.com/VIP. Punch in your info and watch the rest for free.
Get more affection, love, and sex in your marriage. Get less paralyzing fear and rejection. Never miss an episode. Watch anytime, anywhere, 3 a.m. on the toilet. Get full episodes. GreatMenMoveMountains.com/VIP. The C Note Show.